Hi, welcome back to my Thunderbike build. So today we're going to be fitting in a clutch. So it's a slipper clutch from Ducabike. It's one I've used before, so it's had light use on it. I think about 2 races on that one. We'll fit the clutch cover, and then I was going to do the oil lines. As you can see, they finally turned up for the conversion. Unfortunately, which I don't know if you'll be able to make this out, but the fitting is cracked. It was a second-hand pipe that I got because it had the pressure relief for the oil filter mount that I need to convert, plus it had the actual 2 connections with it. So I'm going to have to order a new one of these now, but that's just going to delay me a little bit on getting the oil line done. Okay, so first thing we need to do is we need to get the clutch basket in, which is this piece going in here. Alright, so that is held in by these bolts, which need to go in each of these. So this here is the primary gear, if you remember from when we were putting the engine together. So you've got the drive that comes off the crank just behind here with the primary drive gear, then it goes into the primary gear, which is attached to the clutch basket. Okay, and then the clutch center itself attaches to the main gearbox shaft that goes into the engine. So what we're going to do, fit the basket, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 bolts. Each of these needs to be lock sealed, a little bit of blue lock seal or Loctite onto the end of those. They're then put in and tightened up to 32 Newton meters. So let's go ahead and get those in now. You'll see that I've just put this locking tool that goes through 2 of the bolts in the clutch cover. That just stops the basket from turning once we start applying some force to these to torque them down. Yeah, so you can do these up without holding the basket, but it will tend to spin a little bit, so it's just easier if you lock it in. Or you can use a handle based tool. So I've got both types of tools, but I tend to use this one the majority of the time. Okay, let's get these tightened down. Okay, so that's the basket in. All I need to do now is just remove this holder, and then we're going to put in the center basket of the clutch. So it's okay, so you see now that we've got the center basket in, that nut there had to be done up to 186 Newton meters. So I just did the first bit on the ratchet gun and then finished it off with the torque wrench. What we've got to do now is we've got to get the slipper basket in. Okay, so I just put that in there loosely to hold it on, but it doesn't have the bearings in there at the moment. So there's a little ball bearing that goes into each of these little holes or sockets or ramps. Okay, so what I'm going to need to do, I'm going to use a little bit of grease just to hold them in place whilst we put the sort of clutch center in. I'll then get all of the plates put in as well, and we can then start putting the final cover on. Okay, so you'll see there that we've got the little balls bearings in place on their ramps, just held in by grease. What I'm going to do now is just carefully put the plate over the top. Right, next piece to do is get the stack in. So this is one I've used before, so it's set up the way I like. There's lots of guidance around how to use the stacks in Ducatis. There's guidance on how you want to build them up. What you'll get after a period of time is just a sense of feel for how you like the clutch to run. So you'll notice I've got 2 sets of steels back to back in mine. It just helps to get it off the line a little bit better. Stack height wise, you want to be roughly 38mm plus or minus 2mm. And you get that thickness by changing around the 2mm steels with 1.5mm steels. So let's get these in there. Okay, so that's the clutch ready for the top plate to go on. Important thing to bear in mind here is this little hood or cap where the push rod goes into. You can't make it out in there, but there is a very important little seal in there that we just need to lubricate with a bit of silicone grease, because if you don't lubricate that, sometimes the shift clutch rod can get stuck in there because it overheats, or it can actually overheat and cause the seal in the gearbox output shaft to fail, and then you just get lots of oil leaking out. So I'm just going to grab a little bit of silicone grease and seal that up before we just put the top plate on. Okay, so there we have it. The clutch is fitted. These last spring retaining bolts are just done up at 9 Newton meters, and then the cover itself is just fitted with those 4 6mm cap head bolts of varying lengths, and they're tightened up to 10 Newton meters. All you need to go do now is just go back round to the other side and retighten up the clutch slave cylinder. So, because I loosened that off just so I could push the rod backwards and forwards as I needed to do it. So let's just go tighten that up. Okay, so that's the clutch slave cylinder back in place as well. So, as with everything, it just needs to be commissioned. Okay, so thank you very much for watching this video. Apologies, it's a really short video, but I had hopes that with the oil line turning up I was going to be able to do that today. But as you can see, we've now got the clutch on, which is another step closer to us finishing the bike. I've had an update on the bodywork. I should have that in the next week. I may or may not have it in time for the next video because I've got some work away, so I might not be able to collect it in time. But yeah, so a little bit more progress done. Not as much as I'd really wanted to do this time, but hopefully you got something out of that. That's the slipper clutch fitted to the bike. So if you enjoyed the video, please give us a like. If you have any questions or comments, stick them down below and I'll try to get back to them and back to you, sorry, as soon as I can. And if you're not a subscriber to the channel, would really welcome you as a subscriber. There's plenty more content coming. This build is coming close to an end, so it'll be on to our next project soon. So thank you very much for watching. See you in the next video. Cheers then. Bye.